Let's discuss with one of the reporters behind this ProPublica investigation, Joshua Kaplan. And Barbara McQuade is with us as well, a former U.S. attorney in the state of Michigan and MSNBC legal analyst. Joshua, tell us about Thomas's relationship with this relative who received the tuition and why, based on your reporting, Crow is involved here at all.
So this is Thomas's grandnephew, but, I think that suggests that doesn't fully capture the level of closeness here. Thomas was actually his legal guardian. He had taken legal custody of the child when he was 6 years old. And in Thomas's own words, he raised him as a son. And so for high school, Thomas sent the child to private boarding school, and Harlan Crow secretly picked up the tab. And for context, we've previously reported that on Crow's unusual role helping fund the lives of Thomas and his family, including the private jet flights, the international yacht vacations, actually paying him and his relatives money in an undisclosed real estate deal. And this adds a whole new dimension to that.
And according to your reporting, this goes back to 2008, the tuition payment specifically, when this relative was in high school. Your team, as you mentioned, has uncovered not just this, but you've, over the course of several weeks, reported on private yachts, luxurious vacations, real estate transactions. I think the big question a lot of us are wondering is why? Why was Crow providing all of this? Do you have any sense of that answer?
Well, we have what Crow and Thomas have said, which is that this is just a friendship. We are dear friends. When we broke our first story about luxury travel, Crow said that he's extended this sort of hospitality to his many other dear friends too. But I think it's really still very much a live question. Thomas has not talked to us about the nature of the relationship. Crow hasn't responded to our requests for an interview. He's just released these statements, and why exactly these financial ties have so many tentacles is still pretty much unclear.
And the other big piece of what makes this alarming or concerning maybe is the fact that Clarence Thomas just never disclosed any of this and his financial disclosures. And so, Barbara, I want you to jump in here and get your reaction and thoughts on some of this reporting. ProPublica also reports this, and I quote, Thomas did not report the tuition payments from Crow on his annual financial disclosures. Several years earlier, Thomas disclosed a gift of $5,000 for Martin's education from another friend. It's not clear why he reported that payment, but not Crow's. What do you think, Barbara? Why report one but not the other? What does that indicate to you?
This is a bright red flag. This is, along with all of the other episodes of receiving funds from Harlan Crow, the kind of conflict of interest that just cannot stand on our Supreme Court. It is very suspicious, I think, that he would report one and not the other. It seems that this is an effort to conceal the ties to Harlan Crow. It does not appear that there is any evidence that Justice Thomas made any decisions directly advancing the interests of Harlan Crow, but that's not the point. This is a conflict of interest. This shows that Justice Thomas is owned by another person. These are the kinds of things that would completely bar someone from getting a security clearance in other branches of government, because it would suggest that that person is beholden to another, could be blackmailed by another, and owes another. And the idea that a sitting justice of the Supreme Court is taking this kind of money from another person is just untenable. Abe Fortas resigned from the court over far less than this, and I think it's time that Justice Thomas do the same.
There has just been this drip, drip, drip from Josh and his team at ProPublica reporting on Thomas. He's repeatedly been able to just brush off these accusations. His fellow justices haven't taken any action to hold him to account. But when do you think that drip, drip, drip becomes a flood that the justice can no longer ignore?
I'm already there. I was there last time. This one is just really the straw that breaks the camel's back. If you are Chief Justice John Roberts, you have to have a conversation with Justice Thomas. He is ruining it for all of the rest of them. You know that phrase, this is why we can't have nice things? To the extent there was any pushback about an ethics code for Supreme Court justices, this is going to really give fuel to the argument that there absolutely must be a code of conduct. And Justice Thomas has violated any ethical code that could exist. I think that members of Congress are absolutely within their right to demand answers to questions. And if he continues to stonewall, if he continues to refuse to resign, I think there's potentially grounds for impeachment for this failure of disclosure.